What is Gundam? If you've clicked on this video, then the chances are that you probably already know, making this intro completely redundant and a waste of your time. A better question would be, what is Gundam Thunderbolt? While it may seem obvious at first, many fans still don't know themselves. So what is it and what makes it so great? Gundam Thunderbolt is an anime/manga which takes place in the UC timeline of the Gundam series, except it kind of doesn't. Gundam Thunderbolt actually takes place in its own version of the UC timeline, meaning it isn't really canon. For the Gundam series, the general consensus is that anything that's animated is canon, so it's highly debatable on whether Thunderbolt is canon or not, though the author himself doesn't see his manga series as such. It not being tied down by canonicity gives it a certain freedom. He goes as far as to compare it with the OG series, which also did not receive that much attention upon its first debut. Yasuo Otagaki took full advantage of this and wanted to do his own thing with the Gundam skeleton. Easily one of my favorite characters in all of Gundam is he pilots the full armor Gundam and Atlas Gundam. I have a habit of liking characters which one might consider to be assholes. Maybe it's because I'm one of them, I don't know. I won't be going over events that happened in the manga because, well, I'm kind of broke. I'll just have to stick to the anime. A bit counterproductive given the opening about the author, but it is what it is. Before the war, he often attended racing or piloting events at his colony, alongside his two friends who also joined the military. A good chunk of Gundam pilots don't have such explaining or experience, they're just good because they're the protagonists, despite them being like 6. Speaking of age, it's another thing that separates him from a good chunk of other protagonists, that being he's actually old enough to drive a car, so yeah, no safety seats for him, and he can actually reach the pedals. Speaking of not being a child, he has balls of steel. He's ruthless and sociopathic. He likes to use music to pump him up and help him remain calm. I know this might go against the message of war as bad, Flaming's just a blast to watch. I guess that's why I like characters who are jerks. He does what he wants. There's no, after hold back my power, or, I'm sorry, Ikazuki-chan, I didn't mean to walk in on you, please forgive me. Eo Fleming is the type to walk in on someone on purpose. Fleming is a bit of an interesting character. He is haunted by his dead father who committed suicide. He is haunted by the image of his dead father's body. Although he may seem a bit sociopathic, yeah, a bit, he does care about people who are close to him. Best example of this is with Claudia. It's easy to get lost in the show due to Fleming's fanaticism for combat, insults, and jazz. But we're not at the music yet. It's time to talk about our other protagonist. Eo Fleming's Xeon counterpart. Daryl is definitely the most sympathetic of the two. You often see flashbacks to when he was a child before he became an amputee, combined with the visuals, the music, and plot relevancy of it. These scenes are nothing short of heartbreaking and breathtaking. I would say that these scenes are a highlight of the show, but really, everything's equally great. There's few of the characters that are worth mentioning, but, whatever. Thunderbolt easily has one of my favorite mecha designs in all of fiction, and one of my favorite art styles in all of Gundam. In fact, the Full Armor Gundam is one of my favorite Gundams. Depending on how I feel at the moment, even my favorite. I just love the design of the Federation unit legs, the joint protection. The amount of thrusters and shields these things have, it's awesome. Not much to say here, the art style is pretty unique and every character looks good. Daddy Fleming especially looks handsome and badass. His designing and facial expressions fits his character perfectly. Again, Fleming is a total Chad. His music just reflects it. Yeah, I try to make a decent transition. Alright. If you've seen Thunderbolt, then you knew this was coming. The music is great. I know. Real controversial opinion. I'm living in 1984, but I'm okay, you know? Simply put, the music elevates every single scene. Daryl's music and Neil's jazz show so much of the personality. Daryl's is more calming and warm. It's like something you'd hear while going swimming on a vacation, while Eo's music is more chaotic and loud, perfectly encapsulating his sociopathic nature in the heat of battle. If you hear his jazz, then run. Gundam is a series known for anti-war themes and realistic takes on characters and sides, giving them understandable goals and flaws. Thunderbolt is no different. In fact, it's just cranked up to 12. The author tried to be more or less objective in portraying the sides. None are the bad guys, but none are the good guys either. They just are. It makes the choice to have it centered around two separate protagonists especially great. Each side has our losses of people that just want the war to end. People are just sick of it. Alongside some questionable to awful people. But even then, they have their grounded motives, and they aren't just mustache-trolling villains. In war, there's only people. Oh yeah, also like, spoilers, skipped it here. Also like how Lawrence has to lose his remaining limb in order to be able to take full advantage of the Sakuzaku. It's like him giving up his last, remaining humanity to be able to go toe-to-toe with Fleming's full armor. Not to mention the blood-red color scheme and the command antenna, which kinda looks like a horn. While Zaku's have always looked pretty evil. Also, I like how menacing the full armor looks. I like the darker color scheme. Maximum Edge. Important to mention the nickname which was given to the OG Gundam, the White Devil. Interesting. Pretentious film school student mode off. Also, I like how Io has to listen to a pirated radio, while Daryl is able to listen to the music he wants from Xeon-made radios. It's pretty great as it gives us an insight of their personalities. Io is rebellious and constantly disregards authority, while Lawrence is more or less a proud war hero. Gundam Thunderbolt is easily my favorite Gundam show. Gundam's my favorite anime series, so I guess I would make Thunderbolt my favorite anime of all time. Math. If I had one complaint, it would be the cult. The main theme of the show is that both sides are equal in terms of humanity and morality. If then a mind control cult comes in with the suicide bombings and brainwashings, like yeah, that fits the theme. Oh yeah, how the hell did Fleming escape? Whatever, I guess it's because it's Fleming, he has the devil's luck or something. But yeah, overall, I think it's great. It's a must-see for a Gundam fan. It's a must-see for anyone, really. It's genuinely one of the best animes I've ever seen. Heck, it's one of the best shows or movies I've ever seen. And it's that way because it took risks, and it didn't hold any punches. It's beautiful, it's heartbreaking, it's Gundam Thunderbolt.
なぜだなぜ奴に勝てない分かったよカーラ君に出会えたことが僕の奇跡だ
Yeah, I hope I was able to do Thunderbolt justice. I probably didn't, but I tried.